بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله اللهم فصل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اقتفى أثرهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. من مرتبة سلكين دوسي Alhaji Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi, the Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Dutse, academic and administrative staff of this great university, Federal University of Dutse, my brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It is my privilege to stand before you to present this lecture on this very important topic and at this time of ours. Really, there is no time in which we need this kind of admonition like the one in which we find ourselves now. More particularly, we are now in the month of Ramadan, in which the Prophet ﷺ admonished the fasting person, the Muslim, to desist from anything that will tarnish the image of his brothers by name of telling lies, concocting them, and talking ill about others. This lecture is really a privilege given to me, being the maiden lecture, Ramadan lecture, organized by NTA, Dutse, and in conjunction with the Federal University of Dutse. Really, I am impressed, and I thank the organizers for choosing me and giving me this opportunity to stand before you and present this lecture. No two people disagree that social media is an innovation so influential that it has become the strongest tool utilized by people to cause transformation in the political, social, religious, economic spheres of human life in modern society. With easier access to the internet, the voiceless have their say. The downtrodden rise to prominence. Minorities thrust themselves to positions that make them no more negligible. With the advent of the global system for mobile communication all over the world, that is GSM, communication and spread of information that used to be cumbersome, time-consuming, and to some extent impossible, became the easiest and most widespread phenomena the human being ever experienced. One single mobile phone now serves as a post office, a bank, a TV set, a camera, a virtual classroom, a town hall meeting facility, a library, all the news houses of the world, and in fact, every service communication can offer. According to the website of the NCC, there are at now 240 million 220,407 registered lines in use in Nigeria. Added to this, the global clamor for freedom of speech, freedom of expression, is being utilized negatively such that everyone interprets that freedom in a manner that suits him and gives him the chance to generate and spread his kind of misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation, as I'm going to explain the meaning of these things. The abuse of this freedom is the subject of discussion all over the global or all over the world, as it affects politics, it affects religion, it affects socio-economic life, ethnicity, etc. Lies are made to appear as normal, decent, and true story. Vile, hostile, and hateful comments dominate the social media, and dangerous exchanges between individuals and groups engaged in a discourse are the order of the day. For the faithful, that is the Muslim, to know the Islamic stand on these negative aspects of our life is very imperative, especially now that we are in Ramadan, in the month of Ramadan, the fasting of which is a pillar of Islam, and during which the Prophet ﷺ made it prohibited for the fasting Muslim to utter false statements, false testimony, engage in backbiting others, and other vulgar statements. We now come to the topic, fake news and hate speech. Before delving into the Islamic position on these terms, we need to look at the terms themselves, both in construction and in terms of their technical import. As it is said in Arabic, al-hukmu ala al-shay'i far'un an tasawwurihi. Passing judgment on something depends on how you perceive and you conceive it. We talk now on fake news. What is fake news? The word fake news indicates, or fake, before we go to fake news, the word fake in itself indicates a person or thing that appears or is presented as being genuine but is not. Fake news is therefore any item of news, any caption, any headline, detailed content and body of news that is posed by the originator to be regarded as genuine while in reality it is not. Technically, therefore, there are different definitions given to the term fake news, even though some writers believe it to be a non-conventional term. That is, it is only in later dates that it has been co-opted to be used. Otherwise, conventionally, it is not a well-agreed upon term that is used either in journalism or in politics or in any other sense. In the New York Times of April the 3rd, 2017, it is said, fake news, a neologism to describe stories that are just not true, like Pizzagate, and a term now co-opted to characterize unfavorable news, has given new urgency to the teaching of media literacy. So all of us need media literacy, either in the field of journalism or in the public arena. Whenever somebody is going to speak, you need to learn how to speak. So as Muslims, more especially, we are in a better position to know that it is not allowed for somebody to enter into this kind of thing. Using the term fake news increased by 365% from 2016 when it was used by the US president. When he mentioned fake news, then it was taken. From that time to this time, it has been used, its usage has increased by about 365%. This is mentioned by the Guardian. The widespread untruth are either, as put by Claire, one of the writers on this topic, in her effort to avoid using the word fake news, she mentioned that there is disinformation, misinformation, malinformation. It is disinformation if it is false and deliberately created to harm a person. It is called disinformation. Something that is false and deliberately created to harm a person, a social group, organization, or a country. Misinformation, on the other side, it is information that is false but not created with the intention of causing harm. It is called misinformation. While malinformation is information that is based on reality used to inflict harm on a person, social group, organization, or country. This is malinformation. There are many types of fake news. I don't want to delve into that deeply because my specialization is not that, and I am only to speak on the Islamic position on this. And before I will go further, we need to know that when we say fake news and hate speech, when we come to talk about the ruling of Islam on them, I don't think we need any deep research, because from the name, from the title, from the nomenclature given to these two titles, they are all not allowed in Islam. Because the first thing is to talk about something that is fake. Whatever is fake is muzayyaf, kadhib, that is in Arabic. Muzayyaf, something that has been concocted, not real. That is the meaning of fake. And according to the teachings of Islam, you don't need to go deep in order to understand that this is haram in Islam. But considering the nature of the lecture, we need to talk about the basis of the thing in order to give a clear conception of the idea before we give the ruling of Islam on them. What are the negative impacts of fake news? Fake news polarize a nation. It polarizes its people, its communities, especially during elections. People are put at loggerheads such that they differ on minute things, and you find that people are even ready to take arms on slight differences of opinion. Everybody is entitled to his opinion, but one has to guard himself against falling into error, particularly on this topic. Fake news also harm international relations. Many a times we find in the news that one particular country is against another country for a news item read by somebody on an official media of a government that seems to be harmful to another country, and this brings about rage and people becoming angry, and as a result of that you find that relations at the international level deteriorate and maybe result into conflict. There are also constant discussions about celebrities. You find that as a result of fake news, whenever you have a celebrity in any field, either in the field of entertainment, in the field of religion, and also political leaders, everything to do with them is important to everybody. And you find that a little lie or fake news concerning somebody important in the society that is called a celebrity is very important and causes attention. There is also the impact of security. That is the negative impact of fake news on security. When there is fake news, there is attention attached to the fake news. Attention attached to something that is fake will result into what? Into actions that naturally they will render our security at threat. It also causes religious crisis. Most of the religious crises, most of them, particularly those that ensue nowadays as a result of this kind of fake news. They also destabilize markets and the national economy, even the international economy. Particularly now that the economy is based on the known markets of stock exchange, any fake news concerning anything there will definitely result negatively on the results of the market and a particular or the economy of a particular country. What is the position of Islam on fake news? From the name, just like I had mentioned a while ago, from the name, fake, one needs not further to dig and find anything about the issue of Islam or the stand of Islam on fake news because it is known to be what? To be haram. Fake news are al-akhbar al-muzayyafa, al-akhbar al-kadhiba, as they are mentioned in Arabic. They are all some of the terms used to refer to fake news. And they are all part of what is known to be false, lie, untrue, etc. Concocting, telling and spreading lies and false stories that are totally the opposite of what is real and truth is one of the kaba'ir al-dhunub. Kaba'ir al-dhunub. It is not something light in the sight of Islam for you to just concoct a lie, create a lie, ascribe it to somebody and say something that is not real. That is a grievous sin in Islam. قال الإمام النووي في شرح صحيح مسلم واعلم أن مذهب أهل السنة أن الكذب هو الإخبار عن الشيء بخلاف ما هو تعمدت ذلك أم جهلته لكن لا يأثم في الجهل وإنما يأثم في العمد. Al-Imam al-Nawawi, known to all of us, one of the classical scholars of the 7th century, in his commentary on Sahih Muslim that is called Al-Minhaj, has mentioned that what is termed to be a lie in Islam, al-kadhib, he says, according to the madahib of Ahl Sunnah, meaning the generality of Muslims, in al-kadhiba huwa al-ikhbaru an shay, to talk about something, to give information about something, bi khilafi ma huwa, as against what it really stands for, the opposite of al-haqq, the opposite of reality and truth. That is called al-kadhib. تعمدت ذلك أم جهلته, either intentionally or unknowingly, on purpose, knowingly or unknowingly, it is still kadhib. But you are committing a sin when you say something that is a lie, when you do it intentionally and on purpose. But if you do it out of a mistake or unknowingly, then it is not it should not be termed as a sin. It's not part of what you will be called to account for on the day of Qiyamah, but all the same, it is called al-kadhib. So if somebody knows the intensity of this word, even if you don't intend it, it is called kadhib. And kadhib, particularly according to classical scholars, when they talk about kadhib, it is one of the grievous things somebody that defends somebody. When it is said that Mr. A is a liar, then nobody listens to him, nobody accepts any information from him. والله تبارك وتعالى يقول إنما يفتري الكذب الذين لا يؤمنون بآيات الله وأولئك هم الكاذبون. إنما يفتري الكذب, those who concoct lies and ascribe lies to others are only those who do not believe in Allah. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَاذِبُونَ, and these are liars. This is the address given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran for every liar. So when we talk about fake news, in this sense and in this context, as a Muslim, you look at what Allah has said in the Quran, what the Prophet ﷺ has said in the Ahadith. What is the rule on telling a lie? Don't say that, okay, in politics, it is allowed for us to use this kind of style in order to talk against our opponents. No, politics is part of life. Part of your life as a Muslim is to conduct yourself according to the teachings of Islam. You don't say that if I am a politician, then I will only act, speak according to the style of politicians that is being used. No, you are going to be called on the day of Qiyamah to account for whatever action that you have committed. For whatever word you have uttered, you will be called to account. And if that is the case, you won't say that, okay, in politics it is allowed to say this, while out of politics it is not allowed. No. You just look at the verses of the Quran. Think before you think about yourself of being a politician. Think of yourself about being what? A Muslim. You are a Muslim before being a politician. You are a Muslim before being any other person. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala also says, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ أَفَّاكٍ أَثِيمٍ. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ أَفَّاكٍ أَثِيمٍ. The torment of the Jahannam, that is وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ أَفَّاكٍ. Affak is somebody who always tells lies. It is sigatul mubalaga, somebody who constantly says lies. He is known to be a liar. He speaks lies. He acts upon lies. That is affak. And a theme, a very deep sinner, somebody who is a sinner, a well-renowned sinner. Allah Ta'ala has, there are many other verses. هل أنبئكم على من تنزل الشياطين تنزل على كل أفاك أثيم يلقون السمع وأكثرهم كاذبون. Most of them are liars. وقال سبحانه وتعالى لولا جاءوا عليه بأربعة شهداء. This is in context of the issue of Aisha رضي الله تعالى عنها on the issue of al-ifk. فإذ لم يأتوا بالشهداء فأولئك عند الله هم الكاذبون. What is greater than a situation where Allah describes somebody as being a liar? If you are a liar according to Allah, then you are a liar in the whole of your life. عليكم بالصدق فإن الصدق يهدي إلى البر وإن الرجل ولا يزال الرجل يصدق ويتحرى الصدق حتى يكتب عند الله صديقا وإياكم والكذب فإن الكذب يهدي إلى الفجور ولا يزال الرجل يكذب ويتحرى الكذب حتى يكتب عند الله. This is what made me mention this hadith. حتى يكتب عند الله. So a person will be written, his name will be written, acknowledged, written, registered as a registered liar with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever you do, you need to consider and reflect. Even after the action, in retrospect, you think about it and regret and ask Allah's forgiveness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ نَافَقُوا يَقُولُونَ لِإِخْوَانِهِمُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ لَئِنْ أُخْرِجْتُمْ لَنَخْرُجَنَّ مَعَكُمْ وَلَا نُطِيعُ فِيكُمْ أَحَدًا أَبَدًا وَإِنْ قُوتِلْتُمْ لَنَنْصُرَنَّكُمْ وَاللَّهُ يَشْهَدُ إِنَّهُمْ لَكَاذِبُونَ. There are many verses in the Quran talking about al-kadhib. We don't need to go into each individual verse. Let's go to the ahadith. Some of the ahadith talking about al-kadhib. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. You know the famous hadith, Ayatul Munafiqi Thalath. The sign, the alama with which we know somebody who is a munafiq are three. The first one is what? إذا حدث كذب. Whenever he speaks, he tells lies. He speaks something that is not the truth. This is one thing, or one of the signs by which we know somebody who is what? A munafiq. Although, according to the ulama, when they say munafiq, here, nifaq is divided into two. There is an-nifaq al-akbar and an-nifaq al-asghar. An-nifaq al-akbar is like that of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, the leader of the munafiqin in Medina, who conceal kufr in their minds while openly they profess Islam. But all these people are what? They are kuffar, they are not Muslims. But here, according to this hadith, whoever is a liar is a munafiq, but an-nifaqul asghar, meaning that he is one of the people who are under wa'id. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised to punish these people. So it is what? It is an-nifaq al-asghar. He is not a kafir, he is a Muslim, but a fasiq. Nas'alullah as-salamata wal-afiyah. In another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, كَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ كَذِبًا أَنْ يُحَدِّثَ بِكُلِّ مَا سَمِعَ. This is more important and more relevant to our topic now. كَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ إِثْمًا. It is enough sin for somebody أَنْ يُحَدِّثَ بِكُلِّ مَا سَمِعَ, that he must give a story, he must pass information about whatever he knows, whatever he hears from people. Whatever he hears from anybody, will just pass it on to other people. Just like our life now. Most of our youth, they receive information through this social media, through WhatsApp, through Facebook, and any other, and immediately, without checking, without making sure about the authenticity, and about the negative effects. What are the benefits of passing that information? You will just pass it to somebody, and it may generate negative impacts such that we have mentioned a while ago. There are other hadith. Umar ibn al-Khattab. Let me just leave the hadith like this and go to Aqwal al-Salaf, the statements related by or reported from as-Salaf al-Salih, as-Sahaba, and at-Tabi'un. Umar ibn al-Khattab, and all of us know who is Umar. He says that لَأَنْ يَضَعَنِ الصِّدْقُ وَقَلَّ مَا يَضَعُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِنْ أَنْ يَرْفَعَنِ الْكَذِبِ. For me to be raised or for me to be humbled to a lower position by speaking the truth is better for me than to be raised to a lofty position by speaking kadhib, a lie. This is a statement by Umar ibn al-Khattab. And he says, وَقَلَّ مَا يَضَعُ, meaning that whenever you speak the truth, you will never be humbled to a lower position. You will always be raised. So try and speak the truth, and only the truth in your life. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala says, أَعْظَمُ الْخَطَايَا الْكَذِبِ. The grievous thing, the most grievous thing for or sin in the life of a human being is what? Al-kadhib. To say a lie, to speak a lie, to pass on information which is a lie. Wallahu al-musta'an. وروي عنه أيضا, that is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said, الكذب لا يصلح منه جد ولا هزل. Whether you are serious or not serious, you are jesting, you are joking, or you are serious, it is all kadhib. So it is not for somebody to say that, okay, I'm not serious, I'm just playing, I'm just joking. Once it is kadhib, it is kadhib. So you should avoid telling lies in whatever sense. There are other things mentioned by the ulama. I think it will take a lot of time to go because we have to talk about hate speech. what you should do as a Muslim when you hear, or how do you deal with lie? How do you deal with fake news? Whenever you are confronted with an information, what are you expected to do as a Muslim? What is expected of you? First of all, avoid listening to and accepting fake news. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu. Fatabayyanu means what? Fatathabbatu. Check. Ask. Dig into the originality and the genuinity of the words that came to you. Don't act upon anything until you ask, what is the origin of this information? For example, now somebody will forward to you a message containing an information detrimental to an individual or the society or anything. What you are expected to do first is to take your phone, call that particular person by phone, or you ask him in writing through SMS, or in the same way he sent through WhatsApp, or any way. You ask him, what is the origin of this information? Who sent you this information? This is your first wajib as a Muslim. But please, do we do this now? Who does that? Most of us just pass it. When they ask, somebody only sent it to me, I also sent it to you. If not for the fact that the security agents, although there is law, all of us are aware that there is law now in Nigeria, that whoever initiates, whoever is the originator of an information that resulted in causing havoc in the society will be responsible. But the issue is that not always the security agencies are, I wouldn't say that are not doing what they should do, but usually they are lax in this. Otherwise, there are many things that happen, particularly during politics, at the height of the days of elections. Look at what we have experienced just recently, 3 months ago, during the time of the previous general elections of 2019. Some writers have said that there were more than 4,000 to 5,000 fake news that passed through the days of election. More than 4,000 to 5,000 fake news all over. Everybody reads anything new, particularly at the days of the collation and the announcement of results. What happened? Everybody is saying what comes his way and what he got from another person. So our law in Islam is what? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu. If a fasiq comes to you with a story, an information, fatabayyanu, check, make a research, ask, dig, find the origin, the genuinity of the story. And tusibu qawman bijahal, for fear of the fact that you may harm other people unknowingly. You may harm other people unknowingly. Who among us is acting upon this verse? Mostly we do not. We just accept. In fact, I have seen some writers have been able, through this research about this lecture, to go through hundreds of websites and writings about this. I'm just trying to join what I was able to put together for the benefit of this lecture. Otherwise, it's very bewildering. It's very terrible and dangerous, what I have seen. If care is not taken and something is not done forcefully and to enforce these laws about fake news, then we don't know how our society will degenerate into. Secondly, never take a stand on anything based on a news item given, even if it is true. Even if it is true, don't take action based upon that information. Because there are two things here. Listening to the information, accepting the information, if it contains an act, condoning the act, passing on the information to others, and then if it has something to do directly with you, you take action. So don't take action on anything based on information you get from anybody, even if that information is true. It may be taken out of context, because not every true information is put within the same context that is intended to. So we should be very careful in this respect. And thirdly, it is part of Isha'atul Fahisha. The spread of fake news, it is part of what? Isha'atul Fahisha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned us against spreading, disseminating information that is called fahisha. Innal ladhina yuhibbuna an tashi'a al-fahishatu fil ladhina amanu lahum adhabun alimun fid dunya wal akhirah. What is so intense like this? Allah is saying that those of you who are or who love that al-fahisha should be disseminated, should be spread among the mu'minun, lahum adhabun alimun, they have torment of Jahannam on them, fi dunya wal akhirah, another torment here, and that of Jahannam on the day of Qiyamah. For what? For delving into this kind of thing and indulging into Isha'atul Fahisha. Another thing that you need to do is to refer any information to those in authority. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ أَوِ الْخَوْفِ أَذَاعُوا بِهِ وَلَوْ رَدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ وَإِلَى أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that one of the things people do is that whenever they have information about something, they easily disseminate and spread the information. Had it been they return to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to pass the information to him that so is happening at a place, one thing is happening at a place, or to the leaders, or to the people in authority. People in authority here, in this context, particularly in our contemporary era now, when you say people in authority, we are talking about our political leaders, our traditional rulers, people in the security. Whenever you have information about something happening somewhere, don't just go and act upon it. Don't pass it to other people and say, okay, you can do something. Or you see easily now, for example, somebody will pass an information to you that something is happening in so state. There is a fight between Muslims and Christians. There is fight taking place, a conflict between so and so. Somebody, without even asking and checking about the genuinity of the information, will just go on his mimbar, Yawm al-Jumu'ah, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, and will call people to take arms against each other. It happens sometimes. I'm not saying that it all happened like this. Somebody will write another information and pass it to other people that let's go to Ungua Kada, so there is something taking place. What you are expected to do in this kind of situation is to refer the information. This is from the Quran. I'm not talking out of context. I'm talking about the Quran. وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ. If something to do with security, that is amn. Anything to do with security should be referred to either the Rasul at the time of his life, or to who? To people in authority. When you are in the university, for example, something happens somewhere, either within the campus or within the city of Dutse, what you are supposed to do is to tell the authorities, the immediate authorities you live with, that is the university authorities, before anybody. Allahul Musta'an. This is as far as we can go concerning hate speech, concerning fake news. As for hate speech, I say, despite the free, but before I go further concerning hate speech, maybe for the benefit of those of us who understands Hausa more, I'll briefly talk about fake news in Hausa. I don't know whether it is relevant. Saboda fa'idar la'alla wasu da suka fi fahimtar wannan zancen, kuma la'alla saƙon zai fi isa in an sa shi da yaren Hausa, zan yi magana da yaren Hausa akan abin da ya shafi labaran ƙarya. Na yi magana akan wannan abun ta ɓangaren maganganun marubuta akan wannan magana ta labaran ƙarya. Labarin ƙarya shine duk abin da bai tabbata ba. Ana kawo maganar a musulunce, maganar Malam An-Nawawi, me ake nufi da ƙarya shine duk abin da ba gaskiya ba ya auku bisa sabanin yadda yake a hakikaninsa, ko an yi da gangan ko an yi da kuskure. In an yi da ganganci, anan ne zunubi yake zuwa, in ko da kuskure ne to babu zunubi, amma dai sunansa ƙarya. Don haka duk labarin da ba gaskiya ba haramun ne musulmi ya shiga cikinsa. Mu a musulunci in ana zancen fake news, dama labaran ƙarya, to baka buƙatar ma ka zo kana tambayar me fake news, shin akwai wanda ya halatta da wanda bai halatta ba a ciki. Ita kalmar fake din ita kadai ta isa ta nuna mana hukuncin abu. Haka abinda zan takaita anan shine dan abin da na faɗa na ƙarshe, me hukuncin waɗannan abubuwa. Hukunce-hukunce suna da yawa, ko in ce nassoshi suna da yawa daga alkur'ani da sunnar manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallama dangane da abin da ya shafi ƙarya. Ayoyi ga sunan a cikin alkur'ani. Ƙarya haramun ne, yana cikin ijma'in malamai, babu wani malami da ya halatta ƙarya, sai a wasu halaye da za a ce mutum ya kai ko abin da ake faɗa ƙarya tsakanin mata da miji, mutum ya ƙoƙari ya ɗan fita daga ɗan wani rikici misali, to shi kansa an fi son mutum ya yi wani abin da yake tauriya fiye da a ce ya yi ƙarya. In ka saba da ƙarya wani lokaci, ta wadda aka baka damar ma sai ta baka dama kuma ka tsallake zuwa wani abin da ba ita ba. Allah kyauta. Hadithai da yawa, musamman hadisi ɗaya zan ambata wanda manzan Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya cewa kafa bil mar'i ithman an yuhadditha bi kulli ma sami'a. Ya isa mutum ƙarya, ya isa mutum kai zunubi a ce duk labarin da ya samu sai ya yada shi. Wani in ya samu labari jikinsa tsima yake, jikinsa rawa yake, har makyarketa wani yake. Ina zai haɗu da wani, ya je majalisa a haɗu da wannan, ina zai haɗu da wani. To yanzu da aka samu wannan harkar ta social media, cikin sauri mutum yana zaune a bayan kwamfutarsa ko da wayarsa, kawai dal ya danna abu ya tafi. In ya tafi nan kuma ba zai dawo ba. Suna cewa kamar da Bahaushe ke cewa ko zance menene shi, zarar bunu. Ina ji samari da yawa an san bunun matu. In aka zaro shi to ba dama ka mai da shi yadda yake, ba zai koma ba. To haka zance yake, in ya fito to kawai shi kenan. Kamar da suke cewa ne, in zance ya fito to shi ne da kai, ba kai ne da shi ba. Shi ne da kai, ma'ana sai yadda ya hukunta ka. Yanzu idan mutum ya buɗe bakinsa ya zagi manzan Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah kiyaye, ko yayi wani abu dai babba, ko ya ce ya tuba, akwai inda ba a karba, akwai inda kuma ake karba. Wani abun ko kayo wani laifi, ko ka ce ka tuba yi haƙuri, to yana nan zai rika kallon ka da abu, saboda mai zancen ya riga ya fito. In ya fito kuma babu yadda za a yi koma. Don haka a kiyaye zantattuka irin waɗannan. Ibn Mas'ud ko Sayyidina Umar kai yana cewa da a ce ƙarya ta ɗaga ni zuwa wani matsayi babba, a gara a ce gaskiya ta saukar da ni zuwa matsayi makaskanci. Har yake cewa ita ko gaskiya ba ta kaskantar da mutum. Duk mutumin da ya tsaya da gaskiya to ba dai ya ga kaskanci ba, insha Allah ta'ala sai dai ɗaukaka. To haka Sayyidina Umar yake cewa. Hakanan kuma Ibn Mas'ud yana faɗin cewa ƙarya ita ce mafi girman zunubi. Wata rana a fadar Hisham ibn Abdulmalik, ɗaya daga cikin khalifofin Banu Umayya, ya kira wani mutumi sai ke cewa, wane ne allazi tawalla kibraha, ma'ana a cikin alkur'ani a kissar tuhumar Aisha da zina Allah kiyaye ai an faɗi wallazi tawalla kibraha a cikin alkur'ani amma ba faɗi sunan waye. To sai ce wane ne wannan mutumin? Sai mutumin ya ce ai Abdullahi ibn Ubay ibn Salul shine wanda ya fara yada wannan ƙaryar a cikin Madina cewa ana tuhumar Aisha kaza da kaza. Sai ya ce a'a ka canza ka ce Ali ne, saboda a lokacin akwai gaba tsakaninsu da ahlul baiti. Sai ya ce ai ba zai iya ba. Sai Zuhuri ya zo, sai ya ce ma Zuhuri, al-Imam Zuhri, Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab az-Zuhri, babban malami ɗalibin Abu Huraira cikin tabi'ai, sai ya ce da shi irin wannan maganar ka juya zancen ya koma Aliyu ne da laifi. Sai ce na tambayi Aisha da kanta ta gaya mu wallazi tawalla kibrahu Abdullahi ibn Ubay ibn Salul. In dai abin ya shafe ta, ita ga abin da ta faɗa, yaushe za a ce a juya abu? Har yake cewa to wannan kuma shine mahallin shahid abin da sa na kawo zancen. Yace wallahi da Allah zai saukar da aya a yanzu, ba a saukar da aya bayan manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, amma da za a saukar da aya ta halatta yin ƙarya cewa ya ku masu imani in kun ga dama ku yi ƙarya, Zuhuri yace wallahi ba zan ƙarya. Saboda me? Ƙarya ba hali ce ta mumini ba asali, ko akwai ƙofar da za a ce ka yi, to gara ka saba da faɗin gaskiya a maimakon ka faɗi ƙarya. To zantattukan dai suna da yawa akan wannan, ina gaba sai mun koma kodi, amma a takaice zan faɗi wannan na abin da matakin da ya kamata ka ɗauka. In labari ya zo maka ga aya ne, Allah maɗauki ya gaya mana umarni, ya ayyuhal ladina amanu in ja'akum fasiqun bi naba'in fatabayyanu, ku yi bincike. Kada kawai daga abu ya zo maka ka tura ma wani ka aika ma wani, a'a ka tsaya ka bincika, ka ɗau waya kai ma ka buga wa wanda ya turo maka, ai ina ka samu labarin, me asalin wannan labarin? In ka ji shi daidai yake sai ka ce to shikenan. Bal ni ina ma ba da shawara a zamanin yanzu ka zauna a ce ko gaskiyar ne baka ce ka yada ba, wanda ka faɗi abin da kai ka yarda da shi. Wani hadisi ne, karantarwa ce, jama'a ku rika azumin litinin da alhamis, jama'a kaza da kaza, wani abu da kai ka fahimta rubuta shi, amma komai ka samu ka gaya wa wani ba lalle bane, ba wajibin bane akan ka. Ni kun gani nan ban taba forwardin wani abu ba na yi, abinda na yadda da shi zan faɗa, amma haka kawai ka yada wani to zai iya zama maka matsala wata rana. Kuma duk abin da ya zo maka me ya kamata kai in ka samu, kada ka ɗauki mataki akan abin da ke cikin wannan labari, ko da gaskiya ne. An aiko maka labari ko ka samu labari wane yayi kaza, to ka ji kawai ka kyale shi. Ko gaskiya ne to karka ce zaka dau mataki in ya shafe ka, bari ka je kai wani abu, ko ka gaya ma wani, ko ka je ka gaya ma wannan da zai wani abu, ko a kai ƙara. Ka saurara tukuna. Sannan wannan yada labaran ƙaryar yana da alaka da yada alfasha a cikin al'umma, a guje shi. Sannan abu na ƙarshe dangane da matakin da za ka ɗauka, duk abin da ya shafi security, zaman lafiyar mutane, ta da hankali, rikici zai iya aukuwa, to ka gaya ma shugabanni. Mun matsalar mu a zamanin yanzu rena shugabannin, sai ka zana shan an faɗa ma me za a yi, ko kuma ga su ne da damar su yi wani abu, haka mutane sai su kwaci doka a hannunsu. Ku ga abin da ya faru kwanan nan a Kaduna, kwana 2 ko 3 an zo an ga wasu mutane kawai sai aka tuhumi cewa masu kidnapping ne, kafin aje ko ina an kashe mutum 2 a wuri, saboda mutane an tsorata, an firgita, kuma ba a yadda a mayarwa security forces aikinsu ba. In an yi sakaci ba kai ne da laifi ba, amma abin da ya biyo ta kana da damar da za ka yi wani abu, to daga shi ka kai ma shugabanni, ko shugabanni na siyasa, chairman na local government, gwamna na jiha, shugaban kasa, duk wanda kake da access da shi, sarakunanmu a kai musu security. In kuna da alakar da za ka iya kaiwa 'yan sanda ka gaya musu. An ɗau mataki, alhamdulillah. Ba a ɗauka ba, ka fita. Amma in kai ka ɗau mataki ko ka haɗa samari a ce a je a yi wani abu, to ka ta da hankali, kuma ya saba ma wannan nassi na alƙur'ani, wa idza ja'ahum amrun min al-amni aw al-khawfi adha'u bihi. Haka Allah ya faɗi. Idan wani lamari na security, na abin da ya shafi zaman lafiya ya zo musu, daga sun ji labari adha'u bihi, sai ga suna ta yadawa. Walau radduhu inda sun mai da shi ilar rasul zuwa ga manzo sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ila ulil amri minhum, da kuma zuwa ga shugabanni ma'abuta jagoranci a cikinsu, la'alimahu alladhina yastanbitunahu minhum, da waɗanda za su san wannan ciki da wajen labarin sun iya feffeɗe shi su fidda abin da ya kamata a yi, amma ba kowa ne ya iya dealing da information ba. Ya ƴan uwa musulmi, harkar shugabanci wani abu ne very delicate, wanda baya jagorancin mutane bai sani ba. In ba mu mai da hankali ba dangane da abin da ya shafi yada jita-jita da zantattuka, to yana cikin sababin da zai jawo lalacewar wannan al'ummar da halakarta. Yanzu kuma ana nema akai wani babban matsala, rashin yadda da shugabanci. Ba goyon bayan mai shugabanci yake yi nake ba, amma ina faɗa abin da shari'a ta tsara ne dangane da girmama masu shugabanci ta ɓangaren aikinsu. Duk abin da ya shafi zaman lafiya, to ba aikinka bane a matsayinka na individual. Aikin waye? Aikin shugabanni ne. In sun yi daidai, Allah ya sani kuma zai ba su lada akai. In sun yi ba daidai ba, za su tsaya gaban ubangiji ran kiyama kuma za a yi musu hisabi. Allah kuma yana ganin kowa, amma in kowa zai ce zai dau mataki a hannunsa, to ba za a zauna lafiya. Allah sa mun fahimci abu. Wannan ina ga ya wadatar dangane da wannan. Akan abin da shafi hate speech, on hate speech, despite the frequency of hate speech in recent years, there is no universally accepted definition of what is called hate speech. Everybody calls his side of the story when somebody speaks against him to be what? Hate speech. And it depends who says it, and it depends who you are. Once you have the differences, everybody is saying something against another, the victim or the receiving end of the information tends to term that to be what? To be hate speech. Some have put it to denote a feeling that evokes dislike, anger, or intense hostility towards somebody or something. It denotes the extreme negative feelings and beliefs held about a group of individuals or a specific representative of the group because of their race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or social orientation. Although here I have some reservations, because usually when they mention this sexual orientation, they are talking about the rights of the same-sex marriage proponents, people who engage into same-sex marriage. That is why they include this kind of statement here. But the others I have mentioned, it is real that anything that defames a race, ethnicity, religion, or a geographical concentration, this is from so-so-so state, this is from so-so local government, the people of this local government don't like this people of this local government, they incite others against each other. This is all what? Part of what is called hate speech. Accordingly, they say, hate speech will be understood as covering all forms of expression that spread, incite, promote, or justify racial hatred, xenophobia, anti-Semitism. This is also something that we have reservation on this. Because according to the Jews, anybody saying anything about Jews is called what? Anti-Semite. They also speak ill against others. We have Islamophobia. Many people speaking about hate speech don't even include this. Only some percentage, even among the Muslims, have the audacity to even mention that Islamophobia is something that needs to be tackled and taken care of. We as Muslims, we are exponents of justice. We call to justice, we profess justice, we call others to exemplify all teachings of justice. It is not allowed for a Muslim to speak ill about another religion. وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَيَسُبُّوا اللَّهَ عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. This is a verse of the Quran. calling the attention of Muslims that they should not abuse, they should not speak ill of the deities and idols of other people, for fear of the fact that these people may go and abuse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His essence. And as a result, you find that the Muslim is the originator, the perpetrator of this crime. He is the person that caused somebody to abuse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he goes beyond the limit that has been given. So as Muslims, we should learn that we should not speak ill of others, and we should respect. At least when you say respect, it doesn't mean that you approve ideologies. It doesn't mean that you approve aqaid, that is the creeds of others. When you respect a non-Muslim, it does not mean that you have become or you have approved the religion he professes. No, you respect him as a human being. You respect him as a member of that same plural society you live within. Because we live in what? In a plural society. In plural societies like the one we live in, you cannot say that nothing will be seen but Islam. So also the non-Muslims do not have the right to say that nothing will be seen, nothing will be professed but their religion. No, everybody has his right according to the laws of the land, at least. What we want is for everybody to be a Muslim, but we don't have that ability. And we cannot force people to be Muslims. As such, we must learn to live with each other in peace and mutual respect. By the word respect I have mentioned, it doesn't mean that you should condone or approve any bad ideology or religion, including intolerance expressed by aggressive nationalism, ethnocentrism, discrimination, and hostility against minorities, migrants, and people of immigrant origin. These are people, usually these terms are mentioned in the West, talking about immigrants. But here now, the better example of a plural society all over the world is this country of ours. You know maybe even better than me that Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, but concerning the number of different ethnicities we have, the religions we have, there is no country like Nigeria. And if everybody is to say that nobody should live but me and my people, then there will never be Nigeria. So we must agree to live with each other. We must accept for every other person, every other ethnicity, every other religion, the followers and adherents of other religions, to live in peace with us. As'alullah at-tawfiq. Hate speech also denotes any speech, gesture, conduct, writing, or display which could incite people to violence or prejudicial action. Essentially, such speeches rob others of their dignity, including A, all dissemination of ideas based on racial and ethnic superiority or hatred, B, incitement or hatred, contempt or discrimination against members of a group on grounds of their race, color, descent, or national or ethnic origin, and all other things. There are many definitions mentioned by writers on this topic. While when you come to the issue of Islam, or before I talk about the stance of Islam on this, there are vital distinctions to be made among the following examples. They say incitement to cause harm, such as negative discrimination and violence. You have expressions that hurt a community or a community's feelings, including by insulting beliefs. When you insult the beliefs of others, you are causing that same insult in turn to your own faith, just like I have given the example a while ago. Criticism of politicians and other powerful interests, exposing them to contempt or ridicule. This is also something that causes or can be termed or looked at as hate speech. The idea we have now in our society, particularly in northern Nigeria, I have mentioned it, or I have indicated about it a while ago. But to make it clear, really, I pity the way we live in northern Nigeria, particularly on the issue of how the leaders and the led, they happen to cope with each other. Really, the respect that is needed and expected of every Muslim towards constituted or institutions of authority is very much lacking in our societies. It is very easy for somebody now, either through a pulpit like this or any other place, to speak against the president of this country in public. Think these kind of things are done where? In public. This is totally wrong. Or to speak against our traditional rulers also in public. Listen to our radio houses programs touching on politics. Every day you hear this kind of thing. Like the chairman has mentioned and highlighted to this. We need, please, and please, to come back into our senses and look at these things rigorously and deal with them. There is no society that will develop peacefully, economically, socially, and in all other respects without this mutual respect between the leaders and the led. We must do something on this. Otherwise, this is one thing that will bring an end to this entity. And we hope that this will not happen. But according to what is going now, we are young people. I'm one of the young people, but those younger than us, they have not been able to learn what we have learned. And it is serious. We need to revert to the teachings of our religion, to the conduct of our customs that are not against the religion, of knowing the rights, the positions, acknowledging the positions of those in authority. Because these are the teachings of Islam that we must. That is why it is not allowed to critique the leader publicly. As a scholar, what you should do when you have something that is wrong, you have observed something that is wrong, go to the people in authority. Particularly, I believe that at least what I have witnessed is that these leaders do respect the ulama. They hear from them. They give them the chance to speak to them. So why don't you go and sit with them, even if they will not attend to you regularly or the way you want them to attend to you? At least they will listen to what you have. Put it in writing. You can do that. Just sit down, articulate your ideas, commit them to writing, then take them to the relevant authorities. If action has been taken on them, that is it. And if not, you have done your wajib. But what we hear now from time to time, there is so alim, a scholar will come and say, so it is not allowed, so will be harsh on the leaders, and he will be taken away by the security agents and will become talking that they are wrong, they are so and so. But please, we should know what is authority according to the teachings of Islam and what we have learned from our as-Salaf as-Salih, particularly the Sahaba. Look at the Sahaba who lived in the time of people like Hajjaj. Ask Abdullah ibn Umar. Abdullah ibn Umar was there. He was alive in the life of Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf. who on a single day inside a mosque, he desecrated the mosque by killing 80 people in a mosque at a time. It was during his time that even part of the Kaaba was destroyed. But all the same, when Hajjaj was leading the prayer, Abdullah ibn Umar was one of the Ma'mun. He would say Allahu Akbar behind Hajjaj. And when somebody spoke to him at that time, he would say, we were not taught to go against the authorities. We must learn these values and understand that democracy is something and the teachings of Islam is something else. We need to learn both. They say there is criteria for evaluating the impact of hate speech, which can be summarized as follows: a threat to national security, territorial integrity or public order, B, disorder or crime, a threat to public health or morals, violation of the reputation or rights of others, the disclosure of information received in confidence. When something is given in confidence, keep it in confidence. Don't disclose that information. A threat to the authority and impartiality of the judiciary. You don't go in public against this kind of thing. What is the stance of Islam on this? Allah Ta'ala first of all says, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. This is the basic teaching of Islam concerning how to deal with each other, particularly on the issue of speech. What do you say to others? وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Speak fairly to people. Say good things to people. Allah here chose the word linnasi. He didn't say to the believers. Allah did not say وَقُولُوا لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَقُولُوا لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ حُسْنًا. But he said وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ. Say to people, all people, regardless of religion. Even if they are not Muslims, say good things to them. Say good things to them. Another thing is justice to all. Be just. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ أَلَا أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا اِعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Be just. Being just is closer to at-taqwa and righteousness. So you should be just. Allah SWT says, O you who believe, stand out firmly for Allah and be just witnesses, and let not the enmity and hatred of others make you avoid justice. Even if you had somebody. وَهَذِي قِمَّةُ الْعَدْلِ أَن تَكُونَ عَدْلًا مَعَ عَدُوِّكَ. For you to be just even with your enemy. Who can do this? This is only found in Islam. To be just with your enemy. Allah can say to be just with the Muslims, to be just with your brothers, to be just with your siblings. But He says to be just with who? Your enemies. Because one of the most difficult things for the human being is to practice justice to somebody he dislikes. So Allah is teaching us that we should be just even to our enemies. Allah SWT has mentioned a lot. I think I need to stop here over an hour. At least I have given a highlight about the topic, and I don't want us to go beyond this length considering the time of Ramadan, and we have other commitments to attend to. I think I have to stop here. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to what is right in all our conducts, in all our endeavors, in whatever we say, in whatever we do. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.